Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy Sydney here with you today. And today I want to talk with something pretty serious about you. I want to talk about something pretty serious with you guys. But first, I've got a pretty full-on announcement to make. I'm going to be stepping away from my YouTube channel. Bazinga! Gotcha! You thought I was gonna walk away, didn't you? You're gonna be playing me if you think that's gonna happen. By the way, guys, y'all know what this sign means? Bring in the fire, because where there's smoke, there's fire, right? Even if it's just in the beard. So guys, what I wanted to talk to you about today, because I've actually been doing my security course, and we've been talking about things like suicide situations and things such as negotiation and hostage situations, etc. And we were talking about how in Westfields they've got very strong security presence, and they've got probably one of the best security teams of any shopping centre chain in Australia. And there's also something I found out, which is that suicides at the shopping centres don't tend to get represented in the mainstream, like it's not actually put out there in the mainstream media. So there was a suicide at Westfield Bondi Junction. For those of you guys who don't know, that's a big shopping centre in Sydney in the eastern suburbs near to the coast, fairly close to the city. And I only heard about it on Facebook. I got an email notification, one of my friends tagged me in something, so I went to it and I saw the other notification, it popped up on my feed that something big went down at Westfield Bondi Junction. So I read through the 5 comments that were there, and I found out that there'd been a suicide. So looked on news.com.au to find a bit more detail, and it turns out it was a guy, and they said of course he fell. But this is something that's not publicized. They don't actually talk about these things in the mainstream media because there's an agreement that between Westfield and other shopping centres, because they obviously don't want people getting ideas that shopping centre is a good place to go and commit suicide. And I totally understand why they wouldn't want to necessarily get that out there as I guess public knowledge all the time, because you don't want people going to shopping centres to commit suicide. People are just there going about their business, whether they're young or old, male or female, employees or shoppers. But shopping centres are meant to be a safe place to go, and I'm not talking about like a university type safe place. I'm talking about just like a place where you can go get your business done and get out of there, and everyone's safe and peaceful, and people don't get hurt, right? And that's the whole purpose of security teams. So when I heard about that, I was like, man, another man committing suicide, right? And it just keeps reminding me of the high suicide rate of men, not just in Australia, but across the Western world. And it's something that's, really personally, it hits home for me because of people that I know of that have killed themselves and tried to kill themselves, and, other things that have been going on. Anyway, it's so hard to get hard facts on suicide and why men and women do it. But it was interesting. I actually had one of my female followers tell me today that she's really, she's 21, right? She's actually really, she's worried that she's not going to maybe have kids by the age of sort of 28, 29. And I said to her, look, I can understand why you might be worried about that, right? Because we see what's happening with feminism in the West, and women are being told, you can have it all, you can do it, you can be the CEO of this big company, you can have the family and have the big job and do this and, be the breadwinner in the family. But then what's happening is they're never around for their kids. They lose that connection with the kids, or they don't get to have kids, or their husband leaves them and they've got to pay their alimony and child support. This is starting to happen, guys, right? This is the turnaround that's happening. And we know that from as young as days old, male and female chimpanzees who, by all my understanding of science and biology and evolution, we evolved from chimps or apes. Whether that's true or not, totally different discussion. But what I will say is, in terms of the study that they did, they got a few day old little chimpanzees, and the young female ones were trying to connect with other chimpanzees and looking at the dolls and things like that. And the couple of day old male chimpanzees were actually playing with all the mechanical things, so like the trains and the cars and stuff like that. So we know that we're biologically wired differently. We know that we're predispositioned to different things. This is why women consistently get into different fields that have a large level of human engagement. Things such as, for example, PR and marketing and nursing and all of these things where there's a high level of human contact. And this is why you see so many men getting into things like science, technology, engineering, and maths. This is not because of patriarchy. This is because of biology. This is because of neurology, right? And you've got all of these Marxists and these feminists and these ideologues trying to tell us something different, but they're wrong. And we know they're wrong. So, you know, I say, well, why are men killing themselves? And we know they're killing themselves because they don't have a sense of purpose. We know they're killing themselves because they feel worthless. We know they're killing themselves because they don't get to see their kids. We know they're killing themselves because they are working themselves into the ground. And for what? Right? If their partner leaves them and takes their kids, right, and then publicly disgraces them, right? They feel like they're not a provider. They feel like they're not a good role model for their kids. They feel like they don't have a sense of purpose. They feel like there's no way out. This is what's happening to men, okay? But we also know that increasingly, oh damn, this light is some hot shit right there. Hang on. That's what I'm talking about. So we know that increasingly women, especially getting into their 40s and 50s who are childless, we're seeing several women starting to commit suicide, not because their kids have been taken away from them, but because they simply can't have them to begin with. And thank you so much, Nadia's News Network. I really, really appreciate your donation. It's very, very kind of you. Thank you so much. All right? So we're seeing overwhelmingly that so many women are getting to this particular age, and they're worried that they can't have kids, or they're worried that they've wasted their life, right? Because they've listened to this bullshit that's been fed to them in universities. They've listened to this bullshit that's been fed to them since the 1970s. And I'm not saying at all that women shouldn't go out there and work hard and get jobs and take opportunities. Absolutely they should. But they should also understand that for everything that they want, there is a price to pay. So if you want to work all the way through to your 35, 40, become the CEO of a company, the price to pay is potentially the price of not having children. And if that's what you want, then cool. But most women don't want that. Most women don't want to die lonely. And we're seeing increasingly, as a result of feminist ideology being pushed upon women, as a result of women being shamed into not having families, right? Into not having kids with husbands, right? Women being shamed out of traditionalism and out into this, you know, this whole new age set of ideologies which tells them that they should not, you know, look after their husband. They should not love their husband and respect their husband, right? And I'm not saying you have to love and respect your husband, but I will say this: if you love and you respect your husband, and you're a good woman, and you look after yourself, and you care about yourself care about your husband as much as you care about yourself, then you're likely to have someone who's going to be like your ride or die partner, right? And I do see this sometimes in some marriages. And I've got a buddy of mine, they've been married since forever. And, you know, the wife in the relationship would argue that, you know, going to church has been the reason the marriage has stayed together. I would argue against that, but I would say that Christian values are something that is sorely lacking in a lot of relationships. And we're seeing this with people riding the cock carousel. We're seeing this with the lack of loyalty. But a lot of the lack of loyalty has come as a result of a lack of attraction. And this lack of attraction has come out because of a lack of masculinity. And this lack of masculinity has come about because of this feminist ideology saying that masculinity is toxic. It's coming about as a result of people saying, right, that you need to do this, you know, you need to, you know, be more sensitive. You need to get in touch with your feelings more. No. That's not what men need. What men need is a woman that can actually be by their side and support them in their goals. And that man will in turn support the woman in their goals if he's a good man. If he chooses to be a partner, right? God Botherer says, have you seen my channel? My videos show how Christian marriages lack Christian values and Christian wives are lying closet whores. Yeah, look, the ones where then there's Christian marriages, and then there's marriages that espouse Christian values, right? And I think that the ones, regardless of whether it's a Christian couple or not, if they do espouse Christian values, and I'm not saying you should be religious, but I'm saying that there is merit, in my view, in these values, such as kindness, such as appreciation, such as being respectable, and in order gaining respect, right, both as a man and as a woman. All right. And Nadia's News Network's exactly right. Modern women are shaming men from being men. That's exactly what's happening, and it's not helping anybody. Right? The shaming of men for being men, it's only hurting people. It's only damaging society. It's only damaging children. Because when the men are not men, they're not attractive to women anymore. And when they're not attractive to women anymore, the women leave. And when the women leave, they take the kids with them. And when they take the kids with them, the kids grow up without a dad. When the kids grow up without a dad, they become feminized. And when they become feminized, they're not attractive to anybody, and they feel like they have no purpose. Or they get fucked over time and time again by those women who are not attracted to them because they're not a real man. This is an attack on masculinity, my friends. Make no mistake about that. Let me remind you what's happening in this video, because this is some true fire and some true truth. A shaming tactics, and how many times you guys see, males and females, say for example on social media, and I've stepped back from social media big time, other than this channel. I do share a little bit on Twitter, but it's only a few people that I follow, and I like to share things that I see merit in. If you haven't smashed that thumbs up already, guys, please do that. It really helps me when you do that. If this is your first time watching, I noticed that half of my watchers have not subscribed to this channel. Hit that sub button down below. Hit that bad boy and smash the bell next to it so you get my daily notifications. I know I fumble a little sometimes saying things, but you know what? I articulate my message well enough for you guys to get exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, guys, get off Facebook. It's really toxic, honestly. It's just gonna fuck you up. Things are starting to go really well for me, even in the short period of times that I've been off Facebook. So many opportunities coming out of the woodwork. So many things are happening in terms of like my mind is just taking over, creating new opportunities for myself, working very hard. So, yeah, look, at the end of the day, when women get old and they're lonely and they don't have children, and there's been numerous articles on this, they become miserable. When women get to the stage where they can't have kids anymore, they become miserable. If women have kids and they get old and they don't have a relationship with their kids because they've been a narcissist their whole life and the kids have worked them out, they'll be miserable. They're going to be miserable in all of these situations. And you're going to start to see a massive, massive glut of women committing suicide, and not just attempting it, but actually dying. And nobody's going to take notice until that starts happening, of what's been happening to men. They're not going to start caring about suicide until it starts happening to women. And that's what happens with everything. Nobody cares about child support until too many women have to live in poverty as a result of it. Nobody cares about suicide until too many women start dying. Nobody cares about social welfare and homelessness until it starts happening to women. They don't care. And God bother her. Very cluey. How did you work that out, man? Oh, of course you worked it out. Of course you worked it out from here. Exactly. And God bother her says, I've worked my mother out. I wonder if she now knows why she's a bee's dick away from 60 and she's not a grandmother. Yeah, well, you know how it is. Anyway, guys, it's just everyone wants to talk about and try and make out like men and women are the same. They want to talk about like how suicide is men's fault. It overwhelmingly affects men, but it's not their fault. Well, it is if they actually do it, but taking accountability for your own actions is a whole different ballgame. But what if you take accountability for the fact that you're killing yourself because you don't care anymore, because you have nothing left to live for, because you've had everything taken from you by the courts, because you can't even afford to feed yourself and house yourself, and yet your ex-partner's going on holidays, and when your kids finally get to see you, you've got to buy them new shoes and pay their school fees because the money that you're paying to the mother is not being used for the purpose for which it's intended. Orbioni Kenobi MGTOW Paranormal says, my partner killed herself through railroad suicide in 2011 due to her monkey branching and it not working out how she thought it would. Exactly. It's exactly right. And it is loneliness. And it is, you know, a lack of connection. And it is a lack of love in their life that's causing this. That's causing the suicide rate amongst women. Whereas with men, it's desperation. It's shame. It's embarrassment. It's a lack of purpose. And this is some real talk, guys. Like, I'm literally getting chills right now thinking about this. Goosebumps. Because I know some of you guys that are watching me right now, I don't even need to hear your stories to know that you've thought about, some of you have thought about suicide in the past. And I'd be lying if I said that I hadn't thought about it in the past too. But I found my purpose. I found my calling. And I'm still finding my purpose and my calling on an even higher level. Right, but I understood that I'm needed. I matter in this world, I'm important, and I have a purpose. And without me, the world is less. Right? Not to toot my own horn, but the emails I get, my God, like, just, I know deep in my heart that because of my existence, I've helped people, I've saved people. And that matters. And guys, you matter, because you may not realize it. But through actually adopting positivity, through adopting kindness, through finding your sense of purpose, you will actually help other people. You will inspire other people. You will drive other people. And you will enable other people to become the best version of themselves that they can possibly be and bring them some true happiness. Or at least some happiness. Enough to take those that are on the brink of committing suicide away from it. And have them reassess what can be achieved with some focus and understanding of what's going on. Anyway, guys, I've also got something incredible, absolutely incredible to share. What type of car was that? I don't know. It's not a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, but it's something, probably like a Honda Civic or some shit with an exhaust. Anyway, I actually have something really... Bike? Which bike? God bother her. Yeah, it's all right. So anyway, hang on a sec, where? Oh, cool, my ride's here. So anyway, guys, look, I've got something exciting to share with you tomorrow. Very, very exciting. And the face of men's health in Australia, the tide is turning. Things are changing, things are happening. And I'm very, very excited to share this with you. But I'm going to share it with you tomorrow morning. Probably, I would say, at around about maybe 7 a.m. Sydney time, which is GMT 10 plus when you look at the time zones. Check it out, guys. I'd love to see you guys on that stream. I've got some really cool stuff to share with you, and I think that you're going to feel very optimistic about the way things are heading once you see it. Anyway, guys, if you want to donate to this channel, paypal.me/sydneymgtow. You can always donate in the super chat, but paypal.me/sydneymgtow or patreon.com/sydneymgtow. $1 or $2 a month is very, very much appreciated. If you can spare it, if you can't, that's totally cool. I'm here for you guys. Check me out on Twitter, Instagram, and Minds. Especially if you have a Twitter account, go check that out. I've posted some stuff that's a little teaser for what I'm going to deliver tomorrow in my video. Well, this is actually a pretty cool background here, and I'd love for some of you guys to get a heads up. So Twitter, Minds, Instagram, and if you want to check out my merchandise store, you guys know that I'm going to be updating that very soon. I've been promising for the last week, just need a bit of time because I'm doing my security course. I've just finished doing it this Saturday, Sunday, just finished. I'm doing it next Saturday, Sunday, the Saturday, Sunday after that, the Saturday, Sunday after that, and the Saturday, Sunday after that. And I'm working 5 days in between, so I'm going hard for the next month and a half. Very exciting things happening. Hang on, who just dropped that? Who just dropped that $5 in the box? I didn't even see that. Riff Magos, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Guys, I'm actually going to, once this video is finished and processed and all done, said and done, I'm actually going to drop Now, you know what, guys? Hang out in the morning. Hang out in the morning. I'm going to share with you. Marcel Harding. I'm gonna do up a Sydney mug with my Sydney logo from the YouTube channel. In the next couple of days, I will be dropping a video about that. Harmonic Live, I feel very secure within myself. Anyway, guys, I'm going to bounce. It's good to see you all. Thank you so much for joining in and listening to this very important topic. And I hope you guys, if any of you are going through a hard time, watch the video that I'm dropping tomorrow, because it's very important and it has exactly what you need. And also understand that you matter, you have a purpose, and you can change lives the same way that I have, even though I struggled and have been through some really dark times at stages in my life. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go for now. Thank you so much for joining. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and peace.